Traeger, Kyle Brandt, Nate Burleson, myself, Kay Adams, and Will Selva out in the newsroom with the latest from coast to coast. Will, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Kay. As we get ever so close, how many more sleeps, Kay, until Sunday?
Don't ask me.
3 sleeps, 2 if you stay up all night Saturday.
There we go.
Yeah. There you go. All right, well done. Well, let's get to some news now, shall we? And there is a lot to get to, especially in San Francisco. When you think about what could have been for the 49ers last season, had quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo not torn his ACL, the trajectory of their season could have ended with a very different result. Maybe they don't end up 4-12. Maybe they don't end up drafting second overall and selecting Nick Bosa. Well, we'll never know, but we do know is that Jimmy G is fully healthy and has the 49ers on the cusp of making the Super Bowl. He's making his second career playoff start. He won his first one against the Vikings. It helps that he has a pass rush on the other side led by Bosa. What a difference a year makes, huh, Jimmy?
Things have a way of working out, and so I always told myself it was a blessing in disguise, you know, the ACL and everything, and yeah, we got Bosa out of it, so I mean that's a pretty good trade-off, I guess. But it's yeah, things have a way of working out, I guess. Just this ride is crazy. You just gotta roll with the punches.
Well, Garoppolo has relied on tight end George Kittle all season. Question is, can he rely on him for the NFC Championship game? The short answer appears to be yes, but there is concern. Lingering ankle soreness kept him out of Wednesday's practice. NFL Network's Steve Weiss reporting the team will monitor his progress this week, but his availability on Sunday is not in question. And if Kittle is healthy, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur knows he has to keep an eye on him.
You know, what's so impressive about George is he doesn't only do it in the pass game. He is so efficient in the run game. I think he's the most complete tight end in the National Football League. I love watching this guy play. Just the emotion he plays with, the energy. So he's a big part of that offense, a big part of that football team. And we got to make sure that we do our best to try to contain him as best as we can. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get his yards. What we can't get beat on is like the big play when they ran the keeper corner post last time we played him for a touchdown. And just got to do our best to eliminate those types of plays.
And Kittle needs 26 receiving yards to break Rob Gronkowski's tight end record for the most receiving yards through 3 seasons in NFL history. But his role as a blocker certainly is invaluable, but he's been dealing with knee injuries, ankle issues, rib issues as well. So he is integral to the San Francisco offense.
I don't like seeing him held out of practice ahead of the title game against the Packers. Thank you so much, Will, for that update. You are a pro's pro, my friend, back here at the old breakfast table. Time for some big deal or no big deal. We all love ourselves some George Kittle. Big deal or no big deal for the Niners if he's less than 100% ahead of Championship Sunday, guys?
I would say no big deal. No big deal at all. Let me get my surface because that's the whole point. I'm going with no big deal because this is basically week 20. I mean, if you consider where we're at in the NFL season, and for anybody to say that an individual is less than 100%, you can ask every player on both rosters, and they'll say, yeah, I'm not 100% right now. The question is, if you're taking each individual at 75%, who you think is going to perform? Because George Kittle is so strong and he's mentally tough, yeah, Kittle's still going to be a beast.
Yeah, I think Kittle's huge, and Matt LaFleur hit that right there. It's more in the run game than anything. He establishes that line. I think it's a big deal. It depends on what's going on. Now, look, everything we're hearing is that he's going to play regardless on Sunday. That's George Kittle. That's what he's going to be. But I am in the NFC Championship game. I want my best player to be 100%. I think it's a big deal because even if you've got to spell him for a few plays and Ross Dwelly's a fine backup and everything, he's not George Kittle. I need Kittle, and I need him as best as he can possibly be because it's going to be a challenge.
The Kittle magic is after the catch when he turns into King Kong swatting biplanes. That stuff is lower body strength, ankle strength. And yet, the deal with the Niners, last week I saw Nick Bosa, and he went from, he was going to get amputation, and the next thing is Andrew WK in 2 seconds. They have a sort of like power through it type energy.
Yeah.
I believe in Kittle's adrenaline and his will. I'm going to say we're going to see the real Kittle on Sunday.
And I believe in their training staff. I mean, they've kept all these guys healthy. They've been through so much injury bug adversity in the past seasons. But Quan Alexander, he was held out of practice, but he should go, or limited in practice rather. D Ford, they're managing these guys so they can be able to go. So hopefully he can make an impact. And I feel like they know what they're doing out there in the Bay Area. Andy Reid has been to the conference championship 6 times as a head coach. Big deal or no big deal. Reid's record is 1-5 in those games. It's a thing.
I'm going to say big deal. It would be unfair to everybody if I stood up for Andy. It's a big deal. He's had a lot of shots at this thing, and everyone wants to say, well, he hasn't had Mahomes. He had Mahomes in the title game last year. They showed up and had a complete egg in the first half, and he lost again. It is a big deal. And if he loses the title game to Mike Vrabel, who's never been there as a coach, that is a big pockmark.
I'm going to say big deal. I was on the Rachel Ray show yesterday.
Oh.
Ran into a young lady who was a producer there, and she came up to me and immediately started talking football. And, of course, I heard Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let me ask you this. As a Chiefs fan, what did you think when you were down 24? She said, I thought same old Chiefs, and this is Andy Reid's MO.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. That is the thought that every Chiefs fan has. And you're right, Kay. I think when you're looking back at Andy Reid's history, if he doesn't pull off this game, then we're adding to the narrative that he can't win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal.
Is Andy Reid a Hall of Famer? I don't know. He's
probably.
got 0 Super Bowl rings as a head coach.
Tough to get in with 9.
And yet you look at his tree, and it's Harbaugh, and it's Peterson, and it's Nagy, and it's going to be Bieniemy, and it's all these wonderful Ron Rivera. You gotta get to the bowl. Like, you gotta get the Super Bowl this year, and you gotta win one. I think it's a huge deal. And if anything, this fan base and this team can rally around that. Like, let's win one for Andy. Forget about us. Forget about everything we've got in these. Go back to the Eagles fans. Like, win one for Andy. I think it's a huge deal, and I think it could be a positive. These players don't want to let that guy down. They love him so much. I'm going to say big deal.
Agree all around. At GMFP with your thoughts. We have some good news for everybody. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, Larry Fitzgerald will return for another season. It's another 1-year extension. Fitzgerald said on Twitter, Arizona is where I started and where I will finish. 2020, let's get to work. Big deal or no big deal? Nathan Fitz is back. This is going to be his 17th season.
Yeah, I say this is no big deal because it's kind of expected. Like, he's Larry Legend for a reason. He's not going to die.
Okay.
He reminds me of that quote. We call him Larry Legend because what did they say in Sandlot? Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Yeah.
So year by year, he's not going to die, guys. Just expect him to come back. He'll play 20 years.
Larry longevity.
Take the mallow. I'm going to say no big deal, too. The big deal is the season after the next one. Let me tell you why. He's still 77 touchdowns behind Jerry Rice. He ain't getting that. But he's 171 catches.
Okay.
100. I think we need 2 years of Larry. The next one will be the big deal. Give me 2 more, Larry. You take the mallow. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I'm looking at it from an Arizona Cardinals standpoint. Like,
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this.
does this not validate Cliff Kingsbury? Like, I had a year with this guy.
I like him.
I like this guy. I think he's good.
I like Kyler, too.
Kyler Murray, too.
Kyler Murray. But if you're a
That's true.
veteran free agent and you're like, do I really want to put my career in the hands of some college freak, offense coach? Larry says it's good enough, then heck, maybe it's good enough for me. I'm going to say big deal. I think it's validation for that hire and also validation from a veteran to other free agents.